tremendous work and accomplishments over the past 60-plus years of the many individuals and organizations represented here this morning in defending the lives of the unborn, particularly the Massachusetts Citizens for Life, the Pro-Life Legal Defense Fund, Renew Massachusetts Coalition, the Mass Catholic Conference, and the many leaders of our faith communities who rightly see this work as caring for the weakest and most vulnerable of our neighbors. Now, despite our efforts, there are still nearly 20,000 abortions a year in Massachusetts. And yet, some legislators in this building want to make that tragic number even higher. They're pushing legislation that would enable underage girls to get late-term abortions without their parents ever even being told. Now, as we've seen from abortion activists in New York and Virginia, these extremists want to change our laws so that viable, full-term babies who survive an abortion can be left to die, not on an operating table, because these abortions would no longer have to be performed in a hospital, but in an office stripped of emergency natal care equipment. Now that's the bad news. But we're here this morning for good news. And that good news is that despite what we are often told, this extreme pro-abortion agenda does not reflect the will of the people in our Commonwealth. In fact, a clear majority of Massachusetts voters reject these horrific ideas. And I'm thankful to the Susan B. Anthony list, national leaders in the pro-life movement, for demonstrating this in a groundbreaking poll they will share with us today. They've proven what we've known all along in our hearts, that Bay State voters are far more pro-life than the people elected to represent them. Wow. So this morning we get to make sure that the legislature hears the voices of those people who elect them, not just Planned Parenthood and the National Abortion Rights Action League. So I'm proud to introduce at this time a representative from the Susan B. Anthony list who made this poll possible and who brings us this good news, Sue Liebel.
To be with you here today. I'm sorry we have to be here, but I am so motivated, so inspired by your passion for life. So thank you so much. I want to thank the organizations that have sponsored this as well. This is a very important message that we have to get out. And I'm Sue Swayze Legal from the Susan B. Anthony list. It's the nation's largest pro-life organization. We're dedicated to electing pro-life leaders and passing pro-life legislation. As you know, across this nation, there's growing momentum informed by science and compassion that, and actually out of an outrage to New York and Virginia. So we want to recognize the humanity of the unborn child in our laws. It's clearer than ever that Roe versus Wade is far from being settled law in the eyes and the hearts of the American people. And this is increasingly reflected in state legislatures all across the country on both sides. That's what you're seeing right now. The American people, we want a fresh debate in a new direction achieved by consensus and built on love for both mothers and babies. That's right. Yeah. So something is amiss here in Massachusetts. These bills are way too extreme. We recently conducted research, as Andrew said, in the state of Massachusetts, and we're here to share those results with you. Overall, Bay State voters widely do not want more late-term abortions to take place. 62% of Massachusetts voters oppose allowing them. And it's not a partisan issue either. We found that 49% of Democrats and 66% of independent voters opposed more late-term abortions.
Thank you very much.
Now get this, in our polling, 44% of people who say they're pro-choice don't want to extend late-term abortions in the state of Massachusetts. about not requiring abortions to be done in hospitals. 74%, 3 out of 4 voters, Republicans and Democrats, support your existing law requiring that those dangerous procedures be done in hospitals. That includes, get this, 74% of women. And 77% of those who self-identify as pro-choice overwhelmingly want those done in hospitals. They know about health and safety. They understand the dangerous nature of this procedure. And then lastly, I'll share with you that 62% of Bay State voters, including 55% of Dems and 60% of women, support the existing law, which requires parental consent before an underage child.